that holds the traffic signal up, stands it up. To repair the traffic signal foundation, of course, a lot of the cases, these traffic signals have been there for a very long time, and the circuits themselves are tied directly into those foundations. So when you have to replace the foundations, you also need to repair the underground circuits. So what happened was, as we first found out it was a knockdown, we would normally have reset that. But we couldn't reset those because they needed new foundations, and because they needed new foundations, they needed all new wiring to a certain extent. And unfortunately, these were, in particular along St. Charles, these were intersections that were not part of the 250 that got completely replaced. So these are the oldest of the intersections that are out there, and they're still out there. So basically, the project changed, and that's really some of the main reasons that the timeline changed. In addition, we also had a problem in that once we kind of dealt through the foundations and the wiring, the traffic signal heads themselves had suffered some damage, but of course, as part of the restoration project, we have had old traffic signal heads from other intersections come out and be made available to us, and we're storing those traffic signal heads. And the thought process was to try to reuse those brackets and signal heads at these St. Charles intersections. But by the time we got to them, and this is the reason I mentioned the corroding problems, by the time we got to them, we found that they'd gotten so corroded that they couldn't be taken apart and put back together and be used on St. Charles, which basically meant we had to go order new traffic signal heads and new brackets. And that's when we really ran into the problem, because the 250 intersections that we did replace, and the intersections that have been replaced in Jefferson Parish and all throughout Mississippi and throughout the other southern parishes of Louisiana, basically the manufacturers of these signal heads and brackets had run out of material. They didn't have any more, and we then had to wait on the fabrication schedule of when these materials would become available.